Imagine, demand, and build a world transformed.
We've got a mix of poets who are seasoned campaigners, and we've got some who are new, who responded to a call out for submissions and who we selected to read tonight. And some of them are going to be reading for the first time ever, so that's exciting. And it's important to note that tonight isn't just about poetry. We're also raising money for Akwaaba, which is a volunteer-run social centre for migrants, which offers a space for play, learning, sport, and you're going to hear a bit about them later. We've got one of their volunteers who's going to talk. But first off, we're going to open with some poetry from Rakaya Fetuga. So she's a poet, facilitator, and events producer based in London. Her work joins conversations on overlapping identities, faith, and culture as self-affirmation. She won the Roundhouse Poetry Slam in 2018 and the Spread the Word Young People's Laureate for London Poetry Awards in 2017. She's resident artist at the Roundhouse, and she's developing a monodrama called Unbraided at the moment. She's been commissioned by various people, including the English Touring Theatre and Coyote. She hosts an open mic in Northwest London and works with the Poetry Society supporting young writers. So I'm going to get Rakaya on, and I'm going to be popping up in between to introduce new poets, but as far as possible, I'm just going to be in the background. Oh yeah, by the way, my name is Will Harris. I'm also a poet, but not tonight. I'm just an in-between poetry person.
Hey. Hello, hey.
I'm going to duck out.
Okay, you're going to duck out. Okay, cool. You know what? I forgot that whenever I'm on Instagram Live on my phone, I can't see myself. I can just see. So right now, I've just got a yellow screen and a black screen. But if I'm like edging too much out of frame, just let me know in the comments and I will realign myself. Thank you so much for having me today. It's really an honor to be on this platform and also to be raising money for Akwaaba, which is an awesome organization. So I'm going to start off with a poem called Brianna. I'm going to jump right into it. And this is about Breonna Taylor, who has still not been served justice for her killing in America. So yeah, let me get straight into that. Braid my afro down at night and touch the sore skin of a memory that is not my own, but we wear together. Trying to bring a dead woman back to life with detail. Was Breonna Taylor wearing a silk scarf or satin bonnet to bed the night she was shot in her sleep, where police stopped off to burn a nightmare through her family tree? Claiming to search for drugs they had already found in another house. And it feels like the same long night they killed Fred Hampton, spraying bullets at a young man asleep, because awake, his tongue was a cannon, shattering the lies built to lock Black people in. When we lock our doors at night to dream, they blast the metal, drag a stench into every sacred place, the hallowed black of night. Can't you face us in the day? Put your horror toys away, eye to eye, all awake, mind to mind. You afraid? Are you afraid? So that was Brianna. I see we've got Repeat Beat in the comments explaining Akwaaba. Good to see some familiar faces or familiar names in the chat. The next poem that I'm going to share is called The World Is Yours. And I wrote this for Inua LM's rap party, and it was inspired by the song The World Is Yours by Nas. So this is that poem. She's having a car boot sale on black clouds, the kind that plume heavy and follow. So even when the sun is high, it's too dark to see tomorrow. This humbling she's selling for $1 and a dream, so kids born in affliction can choose a new theme. Some say they saw her in Navisali, wrapped in keffiyeh at the foot of her house, throwing punches at a cloud in uniform, armed with rubber, metal, and gas. Limbs and stones are all she has, but is not a victim. She is a witness of men grinding the land like spices split apart, a scattered people, scattering people, or kettling them to a crumb of their home, cattle herding to a corner with no space to roam, she says no. A windstorm in her fist, she cries, I was born a daughter of Palestine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Some say they saw her in the Amazon of Ecuador, with flame red across her cheeks, with Waorani women blazing through her canvas of green and brown, anything but weak, while dark clouds, slick as oil, try mining into ancient soil to kill the landscape. Matar la cultura. She will not give up land that is viva y pura. While their greed breaks through the acres, she won't stand benign. She fights. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And was that her behind a fortress of papers in London, trying to decode decades of documents and prove her grandparents' right to live in the country they grew up in and raise their kids, brought in a whirlwind with the windrush and heady dreams to give everything to the foggy city? But hostile environments for immigrants mean they're not home in the only place they've ever truly known. Britishness given and taken away on whim. Smog clouds in the system, but she's fighting to win. No more using and shipping away, not this time. I know this place. I know what's mine. That's her. Always making a deal with the sky on these dark clouds that plume heavy and follow, pushing her out or closing her in at the doors. But whose world is this? The world is yours. So that was The World Is Yours. I'm just going to take a screenshot of this screen because I think it's actually hilarious that I can just see like black and yellow. But thank you for being here. Thank you for the little hearts and stuff. Okay, I'm going to read, the next poem I'm going to read is called Prejudice. I think I'm going to read two more. So the next one I'm going to read is called Prejudice, and it was written for a project called the Truth to Power Cafe. And it was all the sort of responses that people wrote. Some were poems, some were not, but they were all responding to the question, who has power over you and what would you say to them? So I chose prejudice rather than a person. I chose prejudice. So that is this. Prejudice has power over me, not just when it's in the mouth of a stranger, but when it's in the things that we read, in the hearts of the media, in what co-workers believe, in the judicial system and the minds of police. Prejudice that taunts like a matador's red cape, then pretends it was never there. They won't speak of the riches they stole, the jewels that they wear of colonial torture, but only of unfair. Only not enough jobs, not enough tea on merit. Troubled commune in a tent called Bain. I am a Black British Muslim woman. Just because she wears a scarf too doesn't mean we're in cahoots. Just because he's kind of dark too doesn't mean we're shooting hoops. These boxes made for systems that flat pack people, that call a boy in a hood or a backpack lethal, so they don't have to admit what they took from him. The records of his history, peace, safety, self-worth, confidence. I want to fill an enormous water balloon with private school confidence, burst it with a slingshot, let it rain down deeper blue than the summer sky over all the poor kids and Black kids and Muslims in this country who are never told that they can or who never see it. So when they're faced with an unconscious bias that doesn't trust they are capable, they can talk belief faster than prejudice. Convinced enough of themselves to say, I am a world, I am a universe of pure blue elements deeper than the summer sky. There is nothing that I cannot do with time. And though centuries have chained us, we will reach your finish line. And even if we don't, we'll make our own. Our daughters and our sons will know it was not just a fable. There is silk red rope in the future, rippling in the sun. And knowing our brilliance means we have won. And that is Prejudice. I'm going to share one more poem with you. I think that will take me to time because I think I've got 10 minutes. This next poem is called Box. I have been Rakaya Fetuga. Thank you again for having me on The World Transformed. The Word Transformed. Okay, this is my last poem. Okay, let's do that. I am the bougie plantain skewers and sweet chili dip chicks. The third generation, more lost than the second, but free enough to write poems about it. I am the girls who wear Ankara head wraps to work that dazzle Jane and Paul from HR. I'm the black girls who have never seen African soil, have never run on golden sand. The girls whose homeland is just a figment of their imagination or just the pigment in their skin. And I'm the girls who go back home all the time, the ones who basically live there too. The African village girls, the African city girls, the African queen of a town in Kumasi as big as Harlesden girls. I'm the natural hair movement sisters, the Bantu knot flat twisters, the our hair is versatile, relax and weave, the I paid for this hair so it's mine, best believe. I'm the don't touch my hair. I'm the whip it back and forth in my living room, hijab in the street honeys. I'm the melanin mummies. I'm the fuse and whiz kids shocky shakers. The rock and K-pop fans. The showing off but it's alright drakers. I'm the music is harams. I'm the post-colonial studies that gotta make that money monies. The black business, black love, black girl magic, black don't crack chanters. I'm the do I still count as black? African girls, my parents are African, I'm British girls. I am the lost my mother tongue in a burgundy book. A Brexit softback that is changing its colors. This country changes its colors to us every season, rejecting its own children. Us apple crumbles, super malt sippers, us silver hoop socks and slippers, us multi-heritage, polyglots, us loud, us feisty, us sassy, us not. Us who tick black, British, African, a square smaller than a fingernail that our persons are layered into. I am just trying to pull back the skin of that like an onion to find out what's inside. This one bulb of the earth will make thousands of recipes. Thank you so much. Thank you. There's so many great poets coming up. So enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much for having me. Will, over to you. You're back.
Yeah, I was actually here the whole time. That was amazing. Really amazing.
Thank you. Take care. See you.
Wow, that was incredible. And I'm really glad I actually didn't try and introduce. I was going to say something about the relationship between poetry and politics, but I feel like Rakaya's poems kind of did that. The world is yours, free enough to write poems about it, us polyglot, us not. Some really beautiful lines. So next we're going to hear from one of the first poet to who we got poems from in the submissions. Her name's Antonia Moreno Olivares. Hey, Antonia.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
As we can't have rounds of applause, people can make their affection felt through hearts at the bottom, through comments, or through donating to Akwaaba, which is another,
Please do.
The best way to show your appreciation. But yeah, take it away, Antonia. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I start, mine is quite short, so I'm just gonna take a moment to thank Rakaya. That was, I'm speechless. I'll just show you my chills. That was. I admire you as a poet, honestly. Thank you for that. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read you guys one poem that I made. It's called Self-Decolonization. That's lame. I have to work on my titles, but it's quite short. I'll read it now. I'm very nervous. I don't know who's watching and I just see this screen. But okay. 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 You have my soul in your fist. You caged it the day you silenced me. Your father raptured my mother from her land he extracted her, but he didn't know what she took with her. The rivers of her land running in her blood, the mountains of her land as her hips and bones, the sun in her heart warm, the old cold land. She did that because she knew where the real gold was, so she could pass it into me. Your father scratched her hips, bones, and blood. He entered her sacred womb on an attempt to steal the sun she brought with her. What he stole back then wasn't enough. He wanted to shine just like her, but he could not. So he forced her to forget the route to the sun within her by holding her soul in his fist. I'm my mother's girl, and I carry the sun just like her. So strong, so warm, and the closer I get, walking the ancestors' steps, the warmer it feels, it burns. In your fist, it burns. You hold my soul on your fist, but that is okay, because when I find myself, it will burn. Thank you. That was it. Yeah, you're back.
That was
Thank
amazing.
you for having me.
Oh, no, thank you so much, Antonia. That was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Thank you, Antonia, for that. Next up, we have Ben Norris. So Ben Norris is a poet, playwright, actor from Nottingham. He's twice a National Poetry Slam champion. He's appeared everywhere. This is in his own, as he says in his own bio, from Latitude Festival to the proms at the Royal Albert Hall via the back rooms of many, many pubs. His second poetry pamphlet, which I highly recommend, Some Ending, was described by Combe Toybean as the real deal, and by his mum as obviously quite painful to read. Ben's work has been broadcast across BBC Radio. His debut solo show won the 2015 Ideas Tap Underbelly Award and toured the UK and Australia. And he is currently at work on a new play for BBC Drama. He's a creative associate at Nottingham Playhouse, and he also plays Ben Archer in The Archers on Radio 4. And he, most importantly, hates the Tories. So, Ben Norris.
Thanks, Will. Why did you read the whole thing? That was supposed to be options. You could choose. Oh God, yeah, that was deeply embarrassing, and you'll never get back. But still, onwards. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, TWT, to Philippine and you for asking me to do this. This is a real honour to be on this platform, as Rakaya said, and thanks to Rakaya and Antonia for amazing poems. I was going to start with a poem I wrote right at the start of lockdown, but I just reread it before we started, and it's too fucking happy. It's too like banana bread, sunshine, silver linings, and I don't know, it's not really where I've been at for a while. So I'm going to read a poem that I wrote a little bit later in lockdown. It all kind of changed when Dominic Cummings went to Barnard Castle. So I'll start with one about that. Quite galling when lots of people weren't able to hug, family members in their final moments, or if you were incredibly close to someone geographically, but weren't able to see them. So this was originally called Comings and Goings, but that feels insincere. So now it's called Essential Travel. If poetry is the transportive art, then let it take me to Durham, where I have never been. Let it take me to Coventry. I'm told I have cousins nearby, and Warwick Castle is nice. It is always a glorious day somewhere. If poetry is the transportive art, all I ask is 3 streets, over the turnpike, into the arms of my beloved. Let me kiss the skin wounded by all this lack. People are dying without witness, and there is only so long we can believe ourselves loved. Let us ask, what is essential travel? Let us ask when we'll be home. I'm not going to write anything. Jesus Christ. I'm going to read a poem that I wrote in response to a workshop prompt by the lovely Toby Campion. If anyone knows Toby, he's great. And he asked us to look at the last text message that we got. And mine was from a well-known online grocers. And it said, Mohammed will be with you shortly. And I started thinking about what that might mean, and the idea of someone arriving in a more substantial way. So this is called The Text from the Co-op Informs Me. And it wasn't from the Co-op, but that just makes more rhythmic sense, so please forgive me. The capital T, Gods of Truth. The text from the co-op informs me. Mohammed will be with you shortly. Yours will be a breathless courtship. Mohammed knows you already. Your taste in wine glasses and in wine. What fruits you like and how ripe. Show him to the chair that will shortly be his. I am ready, say. I am an open window. Here. Yours, Mohammed. Say his name. Try it from other rooms in your dinner's ready voice. Your come to bed voice. Your best don't wake the kids. Your baby. That's it. Just as you did with Ocado Colin, although this time it will be different. Say, this time it will be different, Mohammed. Take liberties with your mouth, the ones you have to earn because you know you shortly will. The well-oiled abbreviations of decades, the station concourse shout, the moan that escapes your throat, even at his mother's house. The pair of inverted commas you will one day write on the front of his funeral programme. Mo, whose hand now touches your door. I'm going to read a really, really new one that I actually started working on in the same workshop. So really this whole set I owe to Toby Campion. This is after a poem by Kim Moore called The Trumpet Teacher's Curse, where she sort of has a massive rant about annoying experience she's had teaching trumpet. And so I wrote about some teaching experiences I've had. I sometimes volunteer for an amazing charity called Great Men. And I know some of you will know that charity, who go in and lead kind of workshops on feminism with boys to try and get them engaging with the idea of masculinity and gender in general. And they're really cool, but they can sometimes be frustrating. So this is a very new one that probably needs a bit of a chop, but anyway, we'll give it a go. This is called A Curse on the Boys. A curse on the boys who don't listen, who giggle at the mention of gender as if it's something they don't have. The boys who go limp when they see the word feminism, draw dicks on the board for days, lock their mums in kitchens, their wives in bedrooms, and themselves in boardrooms and on trading floors. It's funny how quickly buying and selling starts to look like flailing, like semaphore for help. A curse on those who don't ask for it. A curse on the private schoolers who should know better, whose parents' money can't buy them courtesy or even knowledge, gazing at the all-girls place over the fence, asking only how not to get accused of anything, arming themselves for the joint sixth form, the rape jokes, the alibis, and the circuitous routes. A curse on those who can spell everything but paternity, for whom leave only means one thing. A curse on those who won't let a bathroom be a bathroom, who want to own everything. May you be flaccid forever. May you draw a cock and balls whenever you try and sign your name, write a check, give someone your number. I wish you constantly underwhelming punchlines. Sorry, I've got an early mornings. The kids won't see you anymore. I wish you phallic hatchbacks and copyright-free instrumental music. May your whole life feel like an impressive lift journey in a new skyscraper going up and up and up and up and up, but may your stomach stay put. I wish you so much money you run out of places to put it. I wish you dodgy shellfish and patchy Wi-Fi, substandard private dementia care, prematurely thinning hair. But of course I don't. This itself feels impossibly masculine. I wish you freedom and peace and pause. And for those of you who did go to private school, radically higher taxation, of course. I feel like I've probably got time for one more. Will, can you confirm? Or shall I just scoot off now or put in the toilet? Oh, what is that? One more? Okay, one more. All right. I'll finish with a slightly happier one. I've been a bit sad. That won't be a surprise to most of you listening, and certainly to anyone who knows me. But in that sadness, and not just in the pandemic, before that too, but especially in the last sort of 6 or so months, I've really lent into my friendships in a way that I realized only in doing so that I had never done before. And it turns out it's really bloody rewarding, isn't it? And they're amazing. So so this is a poem of thanks for my friends. It's called A Plenary Question for Victorian Medical Practitioners and Their Ancient Predecessors concerning the role of the organs and humours in the governance of feeling. And don't worry, the actual poem is just about as long as the title. So we're nearly there. Tell me, who decided that the heart is where love lives? I have sent 50 beating red emojis this week to friends in distress and people I want to say thank you to, people I am missing, people I missed. A new friend is listening to silences differently. An old friend is helping her. I feel a displacement. Tell me, where is the small intestines emoji? I can't very well send you the little poo and expect you to know what I mean. Where is the insomnia emoji? The glowing yellow person staring into a fridge, not hungry, just empty. You have given us this new language, but no language to talk about it. Tell me, what is the emoji for safety? What is the emoji for thank you? I didn't know how to say any of this before. And thank you so much for having me. Cheers, Will. I'm so excited to hear all the rest of the poets. Donate to Akwaaba. They're amazing. Wash your hands, wash your bums. Bye.
Thank you, Ben. That was amazing, as always. Yeah, as with the other poets, check out their work online, follow them on Instagram, Twitter. And now for a little break from the poetry, we're going to hear from Bukala, who is one of the volunteers at Akwaaba. So kind of a bit of context as to why we're doing this. And I'm going to hand over to her to tell you a little bit more about Akwaaba and what they do. Hi, Bukala.
Hello, and thanks for having me here.
Oh, it's so great. Yeah. Do you want to take it away?
Okay. Hello, my name is Bukala, and I am one of Akwaaba volunteer. And I'm here to speak about what Akwaaba is and what we do at Akwaaba. Akwaaba is a social center for migrants in Atri. It offers a space for rest, play, learning English, different types of handworking like tailoring, hairdressing, barbering, and much more. Akwaaba also offers mutual support for people and families, like accessing housing, writing support letters for immigration applications, and writing forms. Akwaaba is for all, regardless of your color, sex, age, and religion. We don't accept discrimination in Akwaaba. People come from around the world, including Nigeria, Poland, Russia, many other places. I am a safer space at Akwaaba. Our role is to ensure safety at Akwaaba. We keep an eye on people that come to our center to see if they feel uncomfortable. If there is any sign of abuse or if they are worried for any reason, then we engage them in talking. If we have any concern related to safeguarding, we report them to our safeguarding lead, who will take necessary action. I am also part of finance team and emergency grant panel. Akwaaba member or non-members who are struggling to pay their rents, to feed themselves, or avoid buying daily essentials can approach us for support. We ask them to briefly describe their situation. Then we discuss it on our emergency grants WhatsApp trend and decide how much to give. We can support members with up to £400 depending on their situation, but non-members are only able to get one of £40 grant. Volunteering in Akwaaba gives me and my family so much joy. My family is also one of Akwaaba beneficiaries because this is where we got back our lives. We were once undocumented family and homeless, but with support given to us by Akwaaba, we were able to get back a house and asset support from council. This is part of what Akwaaba has been doing for people. During this lockdown, Akwaaba has been able to help lots of people, both members and non-members. We provide over 700 individuals, families with hot meal, food parcel, and small cash from our Sunday Center in Acme. We distributed 97 emergency grants to people with no recourse to public funds who are in crisis, coming over to £11,000. We created a phone caller network to stay in touch with over 200 families, 200 members. We distributed art and craft material to 70 families and arranged weekly activity section for children over Zoom. We have continued to support our members with issues they are facing relating to housing, work, documents, etc. Now we are restarting our English classes and storytelling activities online, working on Akwaaba Zine, which is coming soon. Akwaaba is open to new members. If you want to join us, you should go to our website or visit us on a Sunday at St. Mary Garden in Austin. You can also support us by donating to our crowdfunder. You can find it on Google or Twitter. Once again, thank you for having me here, The Word Transform. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bukala.
You're very welcome.
This is The Word Transformed, and you can donate to Akwaaba, who are a community centre based in Hackney for migrants, and we're raising money for them tonight. They've got an emergency fund. They're really close to their target of £40,000, but if you can donate, that would be really great. The link to donate is in the bio. And yeah, okay, we've got a lot more poetry coming up. I'm gonna turn off the disco for a moment. I feel like it could play in the background, but that might be distracting for some of the poets' work. But next up, we have the poet Helen Charman, who is one of my favourite contemporary poets, and she's got a new pamphlet forthcoming from Sad Press called In the Pleasure Dairy, which I've read and is brilliant. And she was the author of Daddy Poem, which was published last year by Spam, and she was shortlisted for the 2019 Ivan Juritz Prize for Creative Experiment. She's got a PhD in literature, teaches at Camberwell College of the Arts, the University of Glasgow, and the Glasgow School of Art. Hello.
Hi.
Hey. Okay, I'm gonna give it over to you. Maybe you can talk about your work more generally, introduce everyone to it. You don't need to do that. All right, go for it.
Thanks, Will. I'm not going to talk about my work. That would be a nightmare. But I will say definitely donate to Akwaaba if you can, and share the link to donate to them with other people, particularly if you can't donate right now. They're brilliant, and what they do is brilliant, as everyone has said. And thanks everyone else who's read already. It's been really nice to hear you all. I have never done an Instagram live, so this is kind of scary. So I think I'm probably just going to start reading and end this sort of cursed monologue. Okay, I'm going to read 2 poems. They're quite long, but the first Worry Work, and it's published in a tiny little pamphlet that from Earthbound Press, who are really great and publish lots of great poets. Okay. To stand on the picket line of the word we amidst the sea of booze and outrage, every woman sun, every woman moon, every woman rising, capable of submitting to anything. Writing cover letters while the world is burning, getting landlords to check my references, while people who like to go on the internet make jokes like, the world is burning, but on balance, I've this birth chart, so perhaps things will be all right again soon. Why am I here in my own old dust? Why must I bend at my own old loom? Breastfeeding in a quiet part of the burning world, I'm affected by the moon. In public, the union rep responds with a sad react to my Facebook message. We, the previous, we, the precarious, the posh girls, how they quiver, like Lionel Shriver's sombrero trembling on the edge of feeling. I didn't go to the protest because I was at the stage in my ovulation cycle where I needed to be enclosed alone so I could take to my bed and masturbate or weep. I watched it broadcast live instead, my terror spilling over and into the bodies of all my friends. Will they still love me after Capital? Will I still say ours? The women don't work, but then the men are so diligent, celebrating Earth Overshoot Day by repeatedly misspelling my name. Slice the body in half from the soles to the tips, split open the skin and reap a common harvest from the prints of old golden handshakes. Hours and hours and hours. I love you because you hate the police, because you'll throw the lit match and douse, redacted with gasoline. Have whatever love you want to have tomorrow. Tell me all my feelings are useful and real as we exercise the weird, louche ghosts of boring institutional horror. She was a very beautiful woman, but her best qualities were those over which she had no control. She died at home. In the microscopic world of children's noises, they and all their absent small things haunt me like ghouls. When the daughter dies, the midwife isn't leaving. In the microscopic world of children's noises, they and all their absent small things haunt me like ghouls. When the daughter dies, grieve. I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to do anything. Are you okay? Are you at work safe? Are you okay? The rats deserve everything. That is what I have learned. You are ashamed your political awakening happened so late. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. Did you get home okay? Did you find your bike? On balance, it will be the irregular shift pattern that kills you. Bad news, did you, for everyone you love, get back safe, for everyone that loved you, for everyone whose neck you buried your love in, get home. Human babies develop their sweet tooth from the high sugar content in breast milk, which has a thick and nutrient-rich layer with a makeup similar to cream. On the attached form, on the day never that you never leave, on a scale of 1 to 15, list the ways in which you consider yourself to be affected. I'm affected by the moon. That's the end of that one. Yeah. I'm just going to read one more. I wrote it really recently. I haven't written anything for a while, and then, yeah, it's called VE Day Fantasy in the Key of C. Are we really talking about the cenotaph again? Old enough now for the cycle to repeat on a higher spin. I don't believe the past is better, I say to no one, as I park my teenage car on the tarmac of the care home and think about the boys from school who killed in Afghanistan. If you don't like it here, go home. This is all happening in a dream, of course. I can't visit, and my real life isn't happening. So at night, my thoughts are colored by the 2009 Careers Evening / Armed Forces Roadshow and the crimes of my father's brothers. I used to think the only possible form of resistance was to refuse to turn yourself into a weapon. Look to the rubber bullets in your own cradle and the glass of the house of the first stone crashed in. Agnes doesn't like swimming. She was glad to be rid of him. Hello, my peers. Educate me about the purpose of you. I'm sorry, I wish we weren't here again, locked inside some building by genuine concern for our mothers. We should be. Some are outside the police station, some are mounting the statues, some are dying in great and unthinkable numbers. Amongst the shudder of thought, a microphone turns on. As an organization, our aims include 1, to anticipate critique, 2, to deflect it. Happy the person who has stronger food in readiness. Beginning the long journey out along the promontory, knapsack bouncing against my courageous upright back, I enter the bathroom. I begin to flush my own head down the loo. Still, it is important to save some of your disgust for the art historian, for things about the soup, about the children. Save a space to repeat the rhythm. I can't think of a single thing for him. Wearing the phrase "no nonsense" as a sheath, the blade within begins its popular work of mutilation. The dreary, joyless left, writes the art historian, as the aristocratic women untie the leashes around the thick necks of their hungry dogs. Elegantly, the combination of canonically cold house, an understanding of beet sugar, a taste for peonies and large artichoke meat, a real relish for the freedom of their own speech. This poem can't end with them. I never knew them. The space between EMA and lacrosse sticks is the inland lake against the sea, is the bad weaning readiness for drudgery. Save a space to repeat the rhythm. I can't think of a single thing for them. I believe in God, I used to say to no one, the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. Do you ever get 3 sheets to the wind, mimes drinking the communion wine, and try that thing? Gestures to the cassock, on. In fatigues, they fill the pubs and meet their mothers and mine outside the antique shops. In fatigues, they lick the milk up from the puddle of policy and closure. This, gestures, used to be the youth centre. Sad smile of acknowledgement. This, gestures, used to be my son. While meditating on the mysteries, you might choose to join the terminal conga line. You might think, didn't somebody make a promise to Abraham? Anyway, bang bang. Reversing down the driveway of my mind, I stop for a badger, slow down again for a speed bump, plug my seatbelt in. It's my father's birthday, we're burning the flag, I have to get home in time. That's the end. Thanks very much for listening, and thanks everyone else. And remember to donate if you can.
Hey, thank you, Helen. That was amazing. Wow, that was great. So many great lines. I feel like one way to measure how good a poem is by how many lines in a poem you would want printed on a t-shirt. So in Helen's work, 2 lines stuck out of me. I love you because you hate the police, and locked inside a building by genuine concern for our mothers. I think those would both be good on t-shirts. Okay, we're gonna have a few poets now who submitted work to us. First up, oh yeah, and by the way, if you haven't donated, please donate if you can. The link is in the bio. We're raising money for Akwaaba, a community-run migrant center, and yeah, please, if you can, it would make a huge difference. Okay, so first up in our next run, we're going to have 4 poets who submit work to us. Is Stephen Durkan.
Oh my God!
Hello.
Here I am.
You're here. So we caught you in the middle of something. You seem surprised.
Oh no! Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to leave it to you. Take it away.
Thank you. This is the first time I've done this in ages, and I'm going to be doing it to essentially my own face, which is odd. But I'm really pleased to be part of this. It's really good, isn't it? It's nice hearing everybody their most inner thoughts, and this is what this is about. This is what it's like in late capitalism. I'll just get on with it. It's called A Day in the Life of a Modern Man. Maybe my favourite part of the day is when I wake up a little too early, thus getting to lie in a utopian sleep-awake state for a while. Do you know I only remember the dreams that are lucidly horrifying? Do you realise that someday everyone you know will die? Did you know that I find that fact comforting? Maybe it's the only truly democratic institution. Do you know that when it happens to you, that the majority of 8 billion won't give a damn if that upsets you? Have you any idea how self-aggrandizingly, self-centeredly, self-obsessed that is? Where are my pants? What country are my trousers made in? What material? Are they made ethically? Are they made by underpaid Bangladeshi workers toiling in horrific conditions? If they were, how would I know? Am I able to live my comfortable life because people are forced to work for pennies? Is that worth it? What if I feel utterly encased in myself? What else should I care about? Did I leave the door unlocked? Did I take the bins out? Did I read the news to learn about the world or to get my fill of righteous indignation? Am I supposed to vote for a candidate that I have never spoken to? Is it wrong that I've never spoken to them? Have I ever spoken to anyone on my daily walk to work? Why not? Maybe it's because I'm scared of them. Why is everybody so scared all the time? Is it easier to sell things to frighten people? Dear armchair activists, is clicking a mouse enough? Do you know all the statistics regarding benefit claimants, house prices, interest rates, and so on? Do you know all the intricacies of Pareto optimality of the deficit? Are you familiar with the Austrian school literature? Have you ever stared up at the Sistine Chapel and looked at the ceiling? Did you know Michelangelo? He get paid. John Lennon, he get paid as well. Do you know he recorded the line, "Imagine no possessions and a fucking mansion"? Is capitalism the only option? Maybe I'll phone her again. Oh, would that seem too desperate? If I'd gone into a different bar on a different night, would my life be completely different now? Does my life hang on such random chance? Am I just hurtling downhill, being diverted this way and that by encounters, emails, and elections? What has actually happened in these last 2 months? Why am I living each day with a sigh in between? Is it lunchtime yet? Do I dare drink a decaffeinated coffee? Do I want the thing without the actual thing? Will I get cancer, diabetes? Is there sugar in every single supermarket product I eat? Am I getting enough indole-free carbonol? Is my life just really maintaining a decaying machine? Would a caveman eat something if he didn't know exactly what was in it? Will people start liking me when I fart? Do they like me now, or do they just say that they do? Will I speak to you at lunch next week? Why didn't I print this on one page? Here we go. Do I enjoy my work? Does anyone enjoy their work really? If you gave someone 8 months' wages up front and told them that they didn't have to turn up, would they turn up? Would they come in and turn tables, measure hydrogen levels, or analyse balance sheets? Have I ever had a meaningful conversation with my co-worker who's currently staring at me? Is it only 2 o'clock? Wait. Why are they staring at me? Should I ask? What could my boss want now? Why does his face wear such a heavy expression? What the hell am I going to do now? Do I really need a job? Is a hobo I pass every morning happy? Am I? What about all the people who don't answer the survey? What about those who aren't looking for a job? What about those who are forced to do a job to survive? Isn't that everyone? Should I take the tube? Does anyone even look at these advertisements? Does a child look at that huge voluptuous woman on that billboard? But does a child even think of that? Do people notice the products at the corner of the screen that are tailored specifically for them? Is millions being pumped into an industry that has absolutely no effect on people anymore? Aren't other industries propped up by this phantom structure? How am I going to tell my parents that I've been sacked? Will I stare at my laptop from 7 to 11, then go to bed, or will I actually do something? How many of these people are actually my friends? How many of these people would do so much as raise an eyebrow if they found out I was dead? Why are we going down this slippery slope again? Why has she still not called me? Do I take in any of the endless fragments of information that flicker in front of my eyes day in, day out, scrolling down, follow link for more, rinse, repeat? How many of my friends are staring at the screen right now? All of them? Are we the most unproductive generation in human history? Or is that just my inherent negativity speaking? Does it colour my world? Do I just call and say nothing of any weight, as if nothing happened? Did anything happen? Or was it all concocted in my mind? Millions of flesh and bone coming up with elaborate theories to justify their own base neurological activity. Dopamine and serotonin, cells working to justify themselves, competing views of reality in a multiverse of thought. Our universe is where the powerful always impose their version of reality on the many, isn't it? Will I sleep tonight? Please let me sleep. And that's the end.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Stephen.
I'll lie down now. See ya.
Yeah, cheers. Some great comments underneath that. Okay, next up we've got Fintan Dineen. Fintan.
Hello. Am I really bright? I've got this weird self-tape thing.
Go for it.
All right, thanks, Will. This is called Desire Lines, and I hope those who haven't read Brave New World, it'll still make sense. On Pentecostal Sunday, John the host halves desire lines onto Huxley's Brave New World, and the 7 civilians form a line for their soma. The serving of the host during the sermons of his youth would sometimes be halved and halved again for the feeding of the multitude. The way he holds Brave New World now underneath Fanny's face is reminiscent of those Sundays past when he held up the Eucharist plate. White Sunday is 7 Sundays after Easter, 1 sign for each nostril. The body of Christ. Oh, mate, Soma is Christianity, but without the tears. Love Island is on. One's got to play the game after all. Everyone belongs to everybody else, says a Botox lip to a facelift. I follow her on Instagram, boasts Lenina Crown. Instagram is instant grat. I met her on Centrifugal Bumble Puppy, relays Henry Foster to Bernard Marx. But Bernard Marx is the last in his line. Isn't it about time we called in another Instagram? An Instagram is worth more than a damn, to which all 7 agree. And John instant messages the Soma dealer, who arrives in his red rocket Prius instantly. Conditioning has laid down lines along which an epsilon's got to run. Look, guys, we work all week so we can have fun. And on Whitsun, Jesus' followers were filled with the fire of the Holy Spirit. Now they are filled with Soma to keep the fire of the conversation burning about sports and holidays and products and the yearnings for what they're actually going to do, but never learning that they never actually will. And the more lines that are snorted off Huxley's masterpiece come the more lies which seem to upkeep the revved up needle on the consumer happiness index. Everybody's happy now from one desire line to the next. Mate, have you read Brave New World? Asks Henry Foster. Yeah, mate, of course I have. But John hasn't read it. Like most of the interesting books on John's bookshelf, the desire line was more interesting than the thing itself. Yeah, I think it's been made into a feelie now on Sky Original. And if they were on Whitsun holidays before, now the Whitsun honeymoons have begun. Brave New World is now the Book of John, covered in white noise, 7 signs becoming an orgy of one. Everybody's happy now, they repeat in the solidarity service, the gift of 7 tongues finding 7 orifices. Boys at one with girls at peace, orgy porgy gives release. After his 7th genuflection down on Fanny's fanny, John the Savage feels something he used to feel on Sundays. The more the priest would half the Eucharist, the more it would half his faith. Now he similarly realizes that his heart's only half in this. But is this fun? He blurts out over the noise. And is everybody happy? Or is this all just medicines to the malady of late capitalist reality? You feeling all right, John? Fanny raises Brave New World to his face. Remember, 10 cubic centimetres cured 10 gloomy sentiments. But John bats the book out the window and the Soma is now gone with the wind. No, I don't want this anymore. I want poetry. I want real danger. I want true freedom. I want goodness. I want God. But no one's listening to John now. The imminence of our coming is exalted out loud. And John steps back from the wriggling 6, watching the body snake in a slow motion fix, writhing towards a personal Eden of their own. On Whitsun, Jesus' followers were filled with the fire of the Holy Spirit, but now John feels his spirit to be diminishing, along with the dying embers of the orgy, long past the line of its longing. Daybreak gleams through the window now, the same way it used to in church, when the faces of Jesus' followers would light up in those stained glass depictions above. Now all John sees are the stains on his glass and the faces looking down on themselves. Huxley's words blow left to right outside, forwards and back from chapter 12. And on this Whitsun Monday morning, a white bird is now descending to perch on a new chapter on a brave new digital world that is calling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christ, that was intense.
Yeah, that was intense, as it should be. That was great. That felt very appropriate to an Instagram live reading as well.
Yeah. Well, I just threw in digital world there at the end because it felt apt. So yeah.
Nice.
Donate to Akwaaba, everyone, and yeah, it's great to be a part of. So
cool. Thanks, Ben. Okay, cool. That was great. Yeah. Medicines to the maladies of late capitalist reality. Maybe that's what poetry is. Well, one thing poetry can be. Okay, next up we have Jill Eastland. Hey, Jill.
Hello. Hi. I can see you now. It went a bit
Great.
strange.
I'm going to take out all yours.
Okay, thank you. So this is called Hold Tight Onto Your Own Wrist. Hold tight onto your own wrist. The doomsday clock stole to 1 minute and 40 seconds before midnight. It has never before crept forwards or backwards in fractions, but has moved to and fro in whole minutes. There is no going back now. We have been given longer to hide before the seek, counting more slowly, dragging out each second. Fake news is now an identified threat to our existence. They are double dealing in our time. Hold tight onto your own wrist. Breathe in and out. Listen to yourself tick away. Feel the creature jump under your skin. Can you slow it? Shrews live fast and furious short lives, with a heart rate that can reach 1,500 beats per minute. Hold tight onto your own wrist. If the second hand of the atomic bulletin inches forward by just 20 seconds a year, the youngest new member of my family will live to be just 5. I feel so old now. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you very much.
That's amazing. That was haunting. Yeah, that was a metronome. You could hear that wasn't just something in your phone. And who knew that shrews are 1,500 beats per minute? That's, yeah, puts things in perspective. Okay, next up we have Nora Blascsok. Hi, Nora.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Cool.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, go for it.
Hi everyone, I'm Nora and I'm going to read 3 poems. The first one I dedicate to all the migrant workers who come to the UK for a better life. Deliver. Damp wall against your back, behind boxes of trainers labelled mega value, you wept. Sat in a pool of blood, uniform cast aside, you think about the kid on the factory line, dream maker on the bread line. Cord cutter turned Stanley knife in your hand, you wonder what yours be doing age 7. Surviving on £1 a day, no way, this is Britain. You say out loud, it echoes. A land of opportunity, progression, your neighbors back home envy your iPhone. They pry and they dream. loud shriek in your lap, and you remember the thing. Red, wriggling around as you wipe him with paper towels, wrap his sumo wrestler-like body. The warehouse chills to the bone. He cries and cries as you pull up your jeans, thighs sticky from blood. You shiver as you look back one last time. Babies bring hope, they say. You've got to finish the shift. You've got to finish the shift. You've got to finish. Second poem is a lockdown poem. It's called In an Ideal World. In an ideal world, the washing machine is a portal to clean linen. Dishes lean back like sun loungers by the sink. Potato peel curls through your fingers. Mine scroll ingredients. A buzz, the ground shakes. We turn around. The washing machine opens its mouth, emits a golden light. We jump back. You drop the peeler. A familiar voice. Come on, you two. You step forward, I fret. Face illuminated, you reach for my hand. I worry about burning dinner or the potatoes going yellow. You look at me in that way you do. I let go, I grab your hand, we crawl towards the voice, towards who knows. In an ideal world, a portal. And the last poem I also wrote during lockdown. Hopefully people who also have family far away will sympathize. It's called Clean. Slowly undressing the phone, carefully folding a lemon-scented wipe to access every crevice. The bit I breathe into, calling.
I'm gonna try and get Nora back.
Hiya, what happened?
Oh. Yeah, sorry about that. Do you want to start?
Should I start the last one again?
Yeah, start it again. Yeah, please. Great.
Okay. So just the last one. Slowly, can everyone hear me? I hope so. Clean, slowly undressing the phone, carefully folding a lemon-scented wipe to access every crevice. The bit I breathe into, calling my lover, surgical glove, plastic bag, marching uphill, clammy. When nobody observes the distance, he calms me. The top I press close to hear mother. Picture her doing Sudoku, feet fidgeting, spoon clinking in glass of macchiato, head in her lap. Home. The screen, I can't avert my gaze, numbers rise and rise. Emails ping, father warns about the next. What the fuck is Legionnaire's disease? Leave phone on the bed by the laundry pile and put the kettle on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nora. That was amazing. Okay, thank you so much to our poets so far. Next up, we have Gabriel Akamo. So Gabriel is a Nigerian British poet, actor, facilitator, producer who's worked with Rich Mix, Roundhouse, Wide, Next Generation, and been commissioned by many, many organisations, including St. Paul's Cathedral, Royal Academy of Arts, and the South Bank. He has a pamphlet out with Bad Betty Press called At the Speed of Dark, which I would highly recommend. Hey, there you are. Hey, Gabriel. How are you?
Yeah. Sorry?
How are you doing? You good?
I'm good. I'm very well. Yeah, I'm good. It's glad to be here. Here virtually. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to. Oh, hold on. So I've got Nintendo notifications as my WhatsApp noises. So that I'm just. Oh dear. I mean, to be honest, like you might not have been able to hear it, but like there we are. That was a Super Mario coin grab for the group chat. But yeah, I'm glad to be.
You, so you can go for it. It's all yours.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, cool. Big up all the other poets that have gone before. That sounds like they've passed into like another plane, innit? Big up the other poets that have gone forward in the World Transformed night. Yeah, large up Nintendo. Yeah, cool. I'm going to be reading some poems from the pamphlet, and I'm going to be reading some new stuff as well. Suspension. You cut through the white corridor joining science and drama. Faces expecting fists to draw blood at the speed of dark. Everything quakes at your presence, air thick as a sea of reeds. Your hands are ready to make another boy's face a tambourine for defiling your crown. Your afro, a Byzantine halo, full and gleaming with fire. Yes, fam. Tonight you arrive. On entry he stops. His knuckles to your chest say, when I needed you, you weren't here. He wants to beat all his hurt into your marrow. His fists blur with the street's lights, trying to shake the shadow off. He says the highs are the worst. He has no one to share these moments with. He apologizes. It's one thing to have a void, another to be filled, then torn open. Fam, you want to lower yourself into others but cause overflow, like a body entering a bath. Laurie says there's a fissure in her chest her mother falls into. What you hear is we are born of scars. We all start as the inside of someone else. Sometimes she talks like she's a white dwarf waiting to black hole herself. Fam, tonight you sit with another, break baklava, sip coffee like the blood at 1 a.m. He pour him another cup. He is questioning faith and purpose, tells you his heart almost collapsed on itself again, that his mind keeps falling into his stomach. Every confession is a hymn on loop his pastor has grown sick of. Fam, all your friends are fraying and unstitching inside. You think on your father's body, saying this world has made enough versions of him. Yeah. So those two are, but thank you. Yeah, I'm having to imagine you all. Yeah, thank you, all of you that are on it. Thank you for people that are gonna check it out on the IGTV. Check it out on the IGTV. Share it with your people then. Yeah. So the two poems I just read for you are from At the Speed of Dark, available at Bad Betty Press. They just released an anthology as well. So go and grab a copy on that. It's called Field Notes on Survival. Thank you, Troy, with the half moon emoji. We love it. Yeah, I'm also gonna read some newer things. Yeah, so this is brand new actually. This was supposed to be the beginning of a play. Well, not the beginning of a play, but the first few words of a play which I intend to write. But we'll see. So it's two pieces. Empty biro. It is August 2013. Gail says bring an object with an emotional resonance, something that you're proud of, that you'd keep in an archive. And I have an empty, finished biro. I say something along the lines of, I am this thing too. Something like between my right thumb and index finger, it fills itself up. Something about how I've nothing to be proud of yet. I am an ink cartridge that wasn't filled, some error in a factory. And that it will fill with time. That all the things that will be worthwhile are calibrating. Yeah. Bison. Let's say the father is a champion, right? Formerly violent, a warrior of epic proportions. Right? Imagine a man like Shango and Achilles, the sort of man that you would sit in the back of a building the sort of man that you would sit in the back of a building whose presence you could feel on the other side of the street outside. Even when he breathes, you feel the heat. The veins on his arms are forks of lightning. His voice, volcanoes emptying. Yeah. Great. So those are two very, very new pieces. Yeah, I think I've still got time for maybe one more. Yeah, Will, how long have I got? Because I didn't set my timer before I started. Yeah, one more. All right. Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, let's go with yeah, let's go with Everything to Eyelid. This one is after a poet called Kareem Parkins Brown. He's doing a free workshop on Instagram Live with the Poetry School. So yeah, check that out. So this one's called Everything to Eyelid. And yeah, before I start this, thank you to The World Transformed. Thank you to The Word Transformed. Large up Will, large up Philippine, large up all the poets that have been on it earlier. And yeah, Akwaaba sounds like an amazing organization. I hadn't heard of them before getting involved with tonight. But yeah, I intend to check them out, and I intend to make a donation, and I hope you guys all do too. Yeah, cool. So this is Everything to Eyelid. According to Omar, I'm always in conversation with God. I'm not sure whether that makes me spiritual or just a very good liar. I've learned to convince myself of the things I want others to believe. I'm an actor trapped in character long after the curtain has dropped. I've always been playing myself. The plans I make get weaker by the word. Every right now has morphed to, by the end of the day, become ASAP, faded into as soon as I think I can. This version of adulthood is eroding my integrity like time and water do stones. I fear one day it will shrink to a twinkle on the horizon, the glint of a head top, polished, bald. My scalp shows the strands of me I've weathered, promising too much. I'm learning to forgive myself, to stop seeing this body as a mass of unguided flesh. I don't know whether the silence that follows prayer is nothing or angels putting me on hold. A voice used to speak from heaven in my dreams. Now they all feature waking up to realize I'm still asleep. In these lucid dreams, I'm trying to fly, but failing to get off the ground. And God fades everything to eyelid the moment I realize what is possible. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you, Will. Thank you, The World Transformed. Thank you, The Word Transformed. Yeah. Have a good evening.
Thank you. That was amazing. Really...
Thank you so much.
Wow. Yeah, so many incredibly resonant phrases. All the things worthwhile will be calibrated. Yeah, I hope so. And with Gabriel's words ringing in our heads, we've got our final poet of the night who sent in some work in the call out for submissions. He's Atri Banerjee. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can hear you. Good. Go for it.
It's incredibly intimidating to be after all these incredible poets. Thank you so much for all of you sharing your work. It's been a real privilege to watch and listen. And yeah, please donate to Akwaaba. Like, they seem like such a brilliant organization. I also hadn't heard of them before, but thank you for that. I'm going to read a poem I wrote a few months ago called Meet Me at the Protest and I Think We'll Fall in Love. And I was, as I'm sure all of us were, really affected by the death of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement that happened recently. And yeah, so this is partly my response to that. So it's called Meet Me at the Protest and I Think We'll Fall in Love. And there's an epigraph which says, it's in Portuguese, so please pardon my pronunciation. It's a Brazilian slogan that went around after, which means never let go of anyone's hand. Meet me at the protest and I think we'll fall in love. Come stand defiant against systemic injustice with me. Pick up your cardboard, a box of comfort detergent, painted proud, a banner, black fist. Meet me at the protest and I think we'll fall in love. Lock eyes with me across the rumble, roaring Hyde Park. Wear black and I'll wear red so we can tell each other apart. Chant my name like it's your own. Sing a protest song for me. Shout down, tie your face up in a mask, unseasonable for June. Babe, you take my breath away. Text me a heart emoji. There's no signal. Call me. And when I feel your pulse in my carotid artery like it's my own, we're running to each other. We're vaulting over signs and statues. We tie pylons to our legs and we topple ourselves down as we throw firebombs, Molotov cocktails, and we vandalize great offices of state. We snog on Nelson's column. We scroll ACAB in big black letters. We hack into the mainframe. We bring down Facebook and Amazon and Elon Musk. Hold my hand. Consider the multitude suffocated by the system as we witness the death of late capitalism and the air smells fresh with lavender. Kiss my mouth, soaring high, high, high into the sky, so it's seen from Neptune. Fuck me, my face in milk, suck the tear gas from my eyes, wrap my body in yours, scream loud, 'cause remember, baby, silence is violence. Hold me until the world melts away like honey, and we charge on horseback in riot gear. Fold into me as you feel that familiar sadness after sex. Lay your head against mine as history falls in the harbor. The future ceases. Apocalypse draws nigh. Very much. Thank you. And thank you to the World Transformed, Work Transformed. Yeah, it's been a wonderful evening. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Atri. Yeah, that was really useful. It's really lovely to end on a note of hope. See, poetry can kind of like plumb the depths of despair, as we've kind of heard tonight, but it can also like sound a note of resistance and of solidarity in the midst of that. It kind of reminded me of a famous Audre Lorde quote where she talks about how poetry is not only dream and vision, it's the skeleton architecture of our lives and lays the foundation for a future of change, a bridge across our fears of what has never been before. And hopefully, in the midst of the ruins of the current moment, some of the work here and some of the ideas that the World Transformer generating can like bring something together, a skeleton architecture. And on that note, if you can support Akwaaba, that would help a huge amount. I don't know if you're watching this live, if you're watching this later on IGTV, your donation would still be very welcome. And just quickly to thank all of the poets, Rakaya, Antonia, Ben, Helen, Stephen, Fintan, Jill, Nora, Gabriel, and Atri. They're all brilliant. Please support their work. And thank you to everyone behind the scenes who have helped make this happen, who've contributed their labor, Esme, Philippine, Eni, and Maisie. And also look up other events happening on the World Transformed. Events are filling up quickly, so please register if you want to attend. The Ilhan Omar event, for example, really exciting. Yeah, register online and please donate. Again, please write poems, please share ideas and enjoy the festival. And yeah, keep the hope. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
View the full TWT20 program and become a supporter today to help us deliver political education all year round at theworldtransformed.org.